Hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host and commissioner, Sarah Cotto. I'm here with our co-hosts. Mike Cabalon is back.
I'm
from
back.
Portugal.
I'm already on my phone. I'm already checked out. I'm like, I'm fucking here.
I'm bringing Cabby back.
It's just the intros. And Ify Wadiway is here as well with the mate.
Yeah, yerba
Fresh
mate.
with the mate.
You know, definitely feel free to hit us up.
Oh, I do really
Whatever,
love
guayaki.
I do really love guayaki yerba mate.
Yeah.
But
You left me hanging.
Is that the brand name?
Yeah.
I feel like I
good.
see that in the supermarket. And I've never once thought about what the brand name was. I'm like, it's the one that looks like hippies drink it.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, there's a lot of more. It's more in the like graphics and the font and everything. Not really about the
It's
brand
more
name.
vibes
It's
than anything.
more- yeah.
Sometimes you go see a movie and you're like,
Yellow.
not plot, but vibes.
Yes, yes.
That's what this is.
Most of the time, I think.
Really?
Just vibes.
I feel like for me, it's like indie movies where I'm like, oh, that was just shots that look cool. And it's a vibe, but like not a lot of story going on.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, I feel like for the evaluation of movies, sometimes even if the story is pretty, like, simple,
Yeah, yeah.
well, sometimes that's better, and that is a good
I don't mind a
that's
simple
good
story.
thing.
Yeah.
But if the
Marlon
vibe
wants to
is
find
right,
his son. The story is very simple.
It's finding, and the son's name's Nemo.
It's
Yeah.
right there.
Big surprise.
It's right there.
But
Wow.
yes, I do think if the vibe is good, then the story can be excused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Like when I was watching The Amateur. And
Oh, you watched
No
The
spoilers.
Amateur?
Haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Haven't seen
Okay. There's a point in the movie where you go, that's why he's the amateur.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, Mike, you're back from Portugal.
I'm back from Portugal.
Anything to report? What'd you eat? What'd you do?
Yeah.
I ate a lot of catering food because I went, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm planning my wedding, which is going to be in Portugal. So this was one of our many trips to go. Not many. That makes it sound like I have so much disposable income. But, you know, one of several trips to go and meet vendors and stuff. And so we did like the catering tasting. So I just spent a whole day eating as much fucking food as possible. Anyone, you've planned a wedding. You've done the catering tasting.
Yes.
Wait, why'd you hesitate?
yeah.
Yeah,
I was trying to
did.
relate to you,
reveal
and then that
your-
got kind of
you reveal
backfired.
yourself.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, for us, there was only one option, so I didn't like. It was like, oh yeah, let me. I
Do you mean like
did
one catering
decide-
company, or the catering
So,
company was like, we only make one dish?
You better like this chicken.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. It was multiple options, but just the same restaurant because it was at a restaurant. So I didn't
okay.
really think like, ooh, let's like pin them against each other, see who
That
really
makes
makes the
sense.
best chicken. It was more like, here, which 2 out of these 3 do you want?
I
or
see.
like 2 out of
So-
6.
Okay.
Did you leave with a verdict, or are you still kind of
No,
doing
we were actually really happy. So this was like one of the riskier things from planning from abroad is that we looked at all these catering companies and we're like, well, this menu sounds like it sucks, so we're not going to pick them. This menu sounds like it's good. We're going to pick them. We only picked one caterer to like try their menu. We were like, we're hoping it's good, but based on like the pictures and the descriptions, it looks like it's going to be good, and it was. Thankfully,
Nice.
everything was really, really good. So we're happy
Excellent.
there. But it's just it's a lot of food. Like I
Look-
can eat a lot, and it's a lot.
Well,
Oh.
don't worry, because we'll be out there. Because you remember it was the
Right, that's
you know,
right.
if we had
Right.
5 supporters, you know, Max Fun was going to make sure we got to your wedding.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
in
yeah,
Portugal.
yeah.
So thanks, shout out
So,
to you.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Shout
All
out
the
to those 5
excess, all the
supporters.
Yeah, yeah.
excess will
Thank
be
you
there.
for
Yeah.
helping
5
me and
members.
Sierra get to Mike's
Really
wedding
means a
in
lot to
Portugal.
me.
Perfect.
Um,
We'll be cooking.
yeah,
as
we'll be
well.
cooking.
Yeah,
We'll do a
Oh,
boko.
good.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
do a
kitchen.
boko where we'll see, how, you know, we'll rate your wedding. It's like,
We'll be the featured
It's a live stream
diners.
in real time. We're
Yeah.
here at Mike's wedding. Honestly, 6 out of 10.
yeah, no
Yeah,
open
yeah.
bar, no open bar. No, sorry,
Right,
1
right.
out of 10.
That was a weird.
The
Okay,
vlog.
here's a weird cultural thing. Is speaking of the open bar, they're like, so like, what kind of bar do you want for like the pre-ceremony, and what do you want for like dinner, and what do you want for the after party? And we're like, all of it, all the time.
Yeah.
And they couldn't really comprehend that. Like, I guess that's an American thing to be like, I should be able to order whatever I want at any point in time. And they
Yeah.
were like, no, here it's usually like we serve these 3 cocktails before the ceremony, and then for dinner it's beer
Right.
and wine, and then after is like, you know, a gin bar or whatever. And we're like, no. We want all of your liquor.
Yeah, all at
Just
all,
put
at
the
all
bottles
points.
out.
Yeah.
And let the guests decide. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I do think, you know, I only went to an Italian wedding, so not the
Only
same.
an Italian
not
wedding.
a Portuguese, but it did seem like it was more of a wine and beer first,
Yeah.
and maybe also spritz situation early up top because
Yeah.
daytime, and then later was when the stuff, you know, then the
Right.
regular bar,
Right.
which I think, you know, it was a long situation. Like, you know, I don't think you want people like dropping like flies maybe for
Sure.
theirs was
But
like
that's
really
on
long.
them. I'm
Theirs
like,
was
you're an
really long.
adult. You can handle your own liquor intake.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want someone going up Like, I don't want my bride's father to walk up and be like, I'd like a gin and tonic, from them to be like, we don't have that until 7 p.m. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know who my daughter is?
You know.
But yes, okay, got it. And then did you get to explore Portugal as more of a vacation too, or not as much?
Not as much, which is fine because this is not our first time there, obviously. You know,
No, not your first Portugal.
Yeah. I'll allow it.
Okay,
oh, we'll allow it. We'll allow
I
it.
immediately looked at Iffy like, please.
Back me up
You've
on
been
this.
here
Yeah,
before.
You gotta yes and me here.
Yeah. Look, if you need South American puns, I'm your god.
Oh. Wow,
I
yeah,
feel
that was
we
great. That was
we just
big. I
in 3 lines downslid from like highbrow to lowbrow. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean?
Sure, yeah.
If he quickly, where in South America is Portugal?
Oh man, shoot, it's right there.
It's right there.
Right
Yeah,
there.
Right
Sure.
between, yeah, you know,
Yeah, right in the tuck.
Well,
Yeah,
is
it's
what
right
they
where you're
call it.
picturing
Yeah,
it.
it's right in the tuck.
The language is there.
Yeah, right in the tuck.
I suppose.
Is
Sort of.
Is Portugal in Europe? Did I
It
mess
is in
it up?
Europe. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sure, it
I always
is.
yeah,
Very much
because
in
you know
Europe.
But they
speak
did-
Portuguese in Brazil.
In Brazil.
Sure.
Yeah.
They
I
did
always
do the
mix it up.
colonizing.
Okay,
They
I
did
gotta
do the,
redo it.
so
We
there's
did
that.
eat at an Indian restaurant in Portugal.
Oh.
Because it's
there a
former colonized. I saw like this TikTok that was like the best travel advice is when you go to a country, eat at the restaurants of the country that country colonized,
Yeah,
and
that's better.
it checked out.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
Indian food in Portugal fucking slapped.
Right,
yeah.
right.
I mean, that's why
Yeah.
Mexican food go crazy out here.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
a lot of cross pollination.
Yeah. But I also when you go Jamaican food in Europe, it's pretty solid.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
All right, that's
and
the end of my report.
That's the
Okay.
globe, baby.
That's
That's the
good.
globe.
That's the
Okay.
globe.
No, thank you, Mike. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's get into this episode.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay, so it's week 5 on Top Chef. This episode is titled Line Cook for a Day because no quickfire this week. We'll get into the elimination challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, we open there, like, it's just let off from the last episode. So it's like Incredibles 2, you're coming in right after.
That's
you
your
think-
reference point for a thing that picks up
Yes.
immediately after the last one left
yes.
off?
It's Ratatouille, it's Incredibles, whatever Pixar's,
Too Fast, Too Furious.
whatever Brad Bird is
Yeah.
doing, I'm watching.
Yeah. I'm
Too
waiting for him to
Fast, Too
pick up another
Furious,
Mission
sure.
Impossible.
Yeah, God, that was a great one. So
Where does Incredibles 2 pick up?
well,
I don't remember how the
basically,
first one ends.
The first one ends where like
They're on the
big
island,
ball
right?
So no,
yeah, the big ball. No.
no, God, no. What?
Like, okay. I'm
No,
sorry, I
I'm
don't remember
sorry.
how a
It's okay.
children's movie from
There's
2001
more, yeah,
ends.
There's more of an kind of a denouement where they are
Okay.
at the track meet for Dash.
Oh,
and
that's right.
then
And they get him
afterward
to get second place.
They get him to get second place.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
walking out like post, happy family walking to the parking lot, and then a mole guy
Oh,
comes
right.
up from the
Right, that's right.
underground.
Okay, yeah.
And he announces, and they have their masks on. It's sort of like a look. Now they're a family.
Big
They know how to
pose.
fight right
Yeah,
away.
okay.
And then 2 actually comes up on Mole Guy again, and they're fighting Mole Guy.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So Underminer, sorry. So
I like Mole Guy.
You'll know when you
Yeah.
see him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, so that's sort of what happens with Incredibles 2.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
has been
I'm
the
glad-
Pixar
I'm
report.
glad- Yeah, I'm glad we could all revisit. But anyway, so much in that way, this is sort of like an Incredibles 2 week 5. You take your
Picking up-
pick.
picking
Yeah,
up-
yeah. Massimo's the mole guy.
Right, that makes sense. And Shuai and Henry, who just came back, they tell them Zubair went home, and he's going straight to Last Chance Kitchen. So they're like, oh my god! And then that winner is going to come back. So they're kind of thinking Zubair, which is funny because we know this.
Which,
Yeah,
by the
that's
way,
right.
I know you guys covered this last week. I haven't
Yeah.
listened to the
Oh,
episode,
right.
but I just
Yeah.
know that you,
You
have.
haven't
I'm shocked that
talked
Zubair
about
got
it. I know.
eliminated.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's tough.
He was so strong.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. It's just such a it's a kind of Rossica.
I
Remember, like
was just
his
gonna
Yeah.
say it's
you
this
know,
season's
right?
Yeah.
Rossica moment.
Yeah.
If you got one strong Indian chef, they're going home
Yeah,
early.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy. So yeah, so they don't know this yet, right? They don't know that he lost.
Yeah.
And
Zubair's
then
despair.
that's good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I hope he releases
I hope
a
he-
self-titled album.
Yeah.
Oh, Zubair's despair. Oh, you cry for the guy. But then Kristen and Gail come back, and they're kind of surprised by that, and they tell him there's no quick fire tomorrow. Instead, they're going to jump right into the elimination challenge. They'll be visiting the multicultural neighborhoods of Toronto. So, like, finally, they're getting into Toronto a little bit more. It's been a little kitchen heavy, right? Like, set
It's
heavy.
been a little, I was going to say, just like general Canada heavy.
Okay, yeah.
Like
maple syrup.
yeah, an indeterminate
poutine.
location,
Yeah.
undisclosed in the wilds of Canada. They could have been anywhere. This is the first episode they've been like, hey, we're in Toronto.
Right. Yeah. So that's great. We know they're going to get a little bit of firsthand experience from these chefs at these restaurants. And basically, in teams of 2, they're going to create a dish inspired by these different cultures. So they draw knives. We got Greek, which is going to be Tristan and Bailey when she comes back. They have immunity. Filipino is Henry and Shuai.
Represent, baby. So excited to see it.
Let's go, pancit.
There we go.
Let's go,
This
balut.
guy knows. This guy knows. Have you had balut?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gobbled it down.
Wow.
I love it.
That's one of those things that
Man.
even Filipinos are like, I'm not fucking with that.
I know. It's so funny. Every time I tell a Filipino person about it, they're like, why? I'm
Yeah.
like, because.
They're
You're
like,
not going to tell me you
don't
got some
have to.
aphrodisiac and I'm not going to suck it down.
Oh.
I did it on break at work, so it was for no reason. Just bricked up
Sure,
at my
sure.
desk. Like, oh,
Oh, no.
I got to get home.
Fair. That's the appropriate time. Just a work lunch.
Yeah.
But yes, very exciting. Asian sensation. They cheer. Then Vincenzo and Lana are going to do Indian. Cesar and Katiana got Thai. Kat and Corwin have Portuguese.
Yep. They nailed it.
Mike's land. And
That's what
that's
it is.
your
Yeah, were
land.
you like? Did you feel like you were coming in as a professional? You're like, I know this.
I'm very well versed in this
I
game
already,
now.
look, I already got Portuguese meat on my tongue. I'm ready for the episode.
Yeah, wow. And then Paola and Massimo, Caribbean. So,
Which is so funny because there's like,
Cora and Tristan are both
yeah,
like,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on, man.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, shit.
Right there.
They basically, nobody really got anything they're super comfortable with.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And there's also going to be a double elimination because we have Bailey coming back. So an entire team will be going home.
And one entire team had immunity, so it's
1 in 5.
1 in 5.
Yeah, pretty. You can tell they're sweating. Like
Yeah.
everybody, the,
Yeah.
the stakes were high. The people were a little stressed. They're also going to be serving the judges, but also serving 150 hungry guests. At
Which is a
Bentwood Community
shit ton of
Center.
guests.
I know.
That was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once again, we bring this up every season. How do we get to be those people?
Yeah.
you saw these. Yeah, it just
Yeah.
seemed like open
Yeah, you
season.
Seem like random
Oh,
people.
you didn't listen to the episode.
Oh.
Last week's? No.
Okay.
You could rehash it right now, and I would be delighted.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
ready if you
basically
go.
one of the big things was I was on when the Michael Cera of the last episode.
yeah.
I was sitting with him and I was like, seeing this, I feel like, we could be like a featured
Okay.
like,
Oh,
guest.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
And then was like, yeah, you could be one of the eaters. I was like, no, I know we can be eaters. I meant we can be a guest. Then I come here, I say it to Sierra. Sierra agrees with M. I was like, we got to think higher of ourselves. We can be
yeah.
a featured guest.
No, I agree. Because
Yeah.
this podcast
Sure.
could take off, and within the next 5 years, be like, and the hosts of TV Chef Fantasy League.
I know.
Right, that's true.
because I don't. We got to figure out what Tom's sense of humor is. That's how.
Yeah,
That is what rides on.
I'm gonna
this
guess
podcast.
dad humor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's pretty clear.
yeah.
Puns, which
Yeah,
if he
that's what I'm
has,
saying.
Look, we're swimming in 'em.
been
That's why, because I'm like, if Tom
Slinging
goes
them,
back and listens, he's like, I like that if he said I should guess. Like, oh,
I'll say this. For those of you who don't know, used to be on a show on NBC, and NBC Universal is the company that owns Bravo.
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Peacock.
And there was a point in time, I was on a show called Mr. Mayor, which starred Ted Danson and was written by Tina Fey and Robert Carlock. It was the kind of show, it went straight to series, and everyone around me and on set and stuff was like, this show's going to go for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's the kind of show that looks from far away, looks like the kind of show that would just be on for a long time. So there are a lot of people who are very confident, made a lot of big purchases. Thankfully, I didn't. But one of those, you start to get in your head about well, what happens if the show is a huge success and goes for a long time? It wasn't. If you're like, I haven't heard of that show, it's because no one watched it. But I one of those fantasies was well, the NBC Universal family is just here. It's within reach.
yeah.
I want to be on Top Chef.
Oh wow, yeah, that was on
And
the
that's why,
on the
last
mind.
week,
Yeah.
seeing Amy Schneider from Jeopardy
Yeah.
Yes.
will herself into existence in Top Chef. I was
basically.
Oh, yeah.
that is the dream.
And I'm saying we're like because Amy Schneider was when I did I'm actually in San Francisco Sketch Fest, she was on it. So we're
one degree away.
One degree
Right.
away.
No, that brings more. Yeah, because Jeopardy's not under NBC Universal.
No,
right?
that's
Not
a
that.
CBS
has to be.
Sony joint.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So, so it's not like they had. It's not like they had the extra.
Right. No, there was no
need,
behind
right?
the
it was
scenes
more,
pull.
It was really just
Yeah.
Amy being
Yeah, it was organic. Yeah.
Top Chef fan. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna make
listeners, you guys got to share this with your friends so we can become even bigger than we are, and then we will be we won't just be judges. We will be a whole challenge. Like they'll be like make like a podcast microphone and do a dessert.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, or like
we'll brainstorm that part.
Yeah,
We've got time.
Or they'll be like, use all the ingredients from the Maximum Fun office fridge to make a delicious Michelin star.
Okay, yeah.
Cook something that won't gross out our audience when we eat it on air.
Ooh, yeah, silence.
Something, with the least amount of mouth sounds.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we're talking.
Getting closer.
Yeah,
we're getting closer. All right, so stay tuned for that. But I'm like trying to. But yes. So back at the hotel, we kind of see. Oh yeah, we see the reaction to Bailey. What did you think of people's reaction to Bailey? That was pretty funny. I feel like they were pretty surprised.
I feel like
but it was positive.
If I remember correctly, they zoomed in on Kat's face for some reason. Kat was like blank face, like no reaction. You know what I mean?
She was sitting closest, I think.
I think that's what it was.
And then, I think they were all probably didn't know it was happening or expected it to be Zubair or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of funny, but also everybody seemed pretty like happy because she's like, they probably got along with her.
They liked her personally.
Yeah.
Bubbly, fun. And I will say, Bailey does hold it down for her Chicago peeps because it was her birthday. And I sent her a little, happy birthday DM.
Oh,
and I was like, yeah, when I come to Chicago, I need to come eat at your restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, all right, but make sure you go to Zubair's and all.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah, cool. This ain't about
that.
Them,
also, no offense.
Oh, no. I kind of
just given our show's history with her Instagram page, it does kind of sound like one of those things where like you're like, hey, we should like grab a drink sometime, And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, my friend's having a birthday and like everyone's gonna be there. You can come to that. You know what I mean?
Oh no. Yeah, my
it seems like a deflection a little bit.
Yeah, my boyfriend's gonna be there. So you guys should meet.
It'd be like that sometimes. It's like,
no, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I think we could take what's beautiful about that response is it could be both.
It's,
That's
it's a Schrodinger's cat of a response.
She's a true artiste.
Like me like celebrating getting curved as if it was like, she totally wants to meet up with me and all her friends,
Yeah, and Zubair. That's great. Yeah, she's a team player. She is just a full Chicago head,
Mm-hmm.
We also have Henry and Shwai in the car commiserating about being on the bottom the previous week. Henry has a funny quote of, I'm just a bottom queen. We love it.
Great. Loved it.
Fan favorite. So let's cover these restaurants they go to. So for Filipino, it was BB's.
Looks great. Did not have
Henry
time to
Schwein.
Google it, but now it's on the list whenever I'm in Toronto. I want to go.
Yeah, it looked pretty great. They learned a lot about condiments. And then Kin for Thai, where they kind of did the cool like royal Thai cuisine with the purple flowers. That was
Very
really
pretty.
cool. Dilse for Indian food, where they learned about the Kama Sutra chicken.
With the most animated head chef in the world, right?
Oh, yeah, he was very sweet.
He was really, it felt like your goofy uncle was like the head chef.
Yeah,
he was like cracking jokes, you know what I mean?
That's how you get that like family flavor. It's like,
you need a goofy uncle in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can taste the love.
He was goofy uncle meets camera on camera.
Yes,
man. Knowing his angles.
Yeah.
Knowing he's got to sell the personality, but also is a goofy uncle.
Yeah,
which is a great combination. Miss Licklemore's for Caribbean, and then Sulas Modern Greek Cuisine for Greek, and Mercado for Portuguese. So they all learned kind of a bunch of different dishes that were specific to this restaurant. Some popped out to them and then served as inspiration. Oh, the thing that was funny, that we will talk about later, is Vinny kept saying Karma Sutra, I'm pretty sure.
Is it Kama Sutra?
It's just Kama Sutra.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But,
sounds like a white guy mistake.
But he did say it so many times I had to bring it up.
Well, that was like their little edit for him. It was like he has this one line.
It could just be his accent or however he speaks.
I think he thinks it's Karma Sutra.
I wasn't really sure if I was hearing right. Yeah. They had some funny things, but yeah, that one line. And yes, like the book. As he says. Yeah, like the book. It was great to see him do, the punch. You got to do the punchline multiple times. If it works.
If you got a good joke.
Yeah, you got to just wear it out.
Look, if you're on tour, the people in Milwaukee haven't heard the same jokes people in, like Ohio heard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You get to say it over and over.
Yeah.
Over and over. That's
You
the
get to
beauty.
get as much use of it as you can.
So shopping, the main highlight was that Kat and Corwin couldn't find saltfish. There was no saltfish at the Whole Foods, so they got cod, regular cod. You know,
I feel like
Roman.
have I ever seen saltfish at a Whole Foods? It feels like
Yeah.
you have to go like an ethnic market to get kind of thing.
I see. Yeah. I mean, often there's just not a lot at Whole Foods. I always
Yeah.
am surprised that they shop there and they're able to find what they find because it can be
Mm,
pretty limiting.
Yeah, I mean that's just the brand deal.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
are
and
too.
I'm surprised that a storyline like that made it in where there wasn't some marketing. I was like, well, we don't want to make it seem like we don't have everything.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Well,
sure.
I feel like not infrequently on this show, they'll go like, you have half an hour and $200 shop at Whole Foods, and then after you get $50 to shop at these specialty markets because
Right.
they just acknowledge that, like, look,
You're not gonna get it.
you're not going
Yeah.
to find like pig trotters at Whole Foods or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. That's true. So, so no pig trotters.
Really left that
Yeah.
hanging
No
there.
Yeah. I know
Wasn't sure if you
really.
were gonna add.
Yeah. That's that
right?
millennial pause they be talking about, huh?
Is that a thing? The millennial
recording?
pause?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, yeah, but I learned. I
It's the
just thought
beginning.
it was us taking breaks between.
No.
It's when we start a video and then we wait before we start talking because we're used to the camera taking a while to start up.
Oh.
But because the smartphones are faster, it goes. But with me, it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, what do you mean?
Oh,
like
interesting.
that 0.2 seconds is that
Yeah,
bad?
yeah, yeah.
Plus, I feel like it's wild to be like, hey, how's it going? It's your buddy. You're like, whoa,
Oh, no.
were you talking before you started hitting play?
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like, no,
I agree with that.
I'm going to acknowledge that I hit play
Right.
and having this moment of intentionality.
Yeah, it's like checking to see. I find it for me, it's checking to make sure that I did press it, and I'm not going to just go into my thing and then realize I didn't press record.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
if
right.
I tapped the thing and it didn't register
Yeah.
or whatever,
This
right?
seems to be a generation of people who hasn't had to re-record a voice note, and then it feels
Sure,
you
sure.
feel so fake.
Yeah.
Because especially I hate when like
Do it
if
all
I'm
the
like
time.
reacting
Yeah.
to a joke, so I'm like, yeah,
Oh my God.
and then it doesn't record. You're like, fuck. You're like, I'm such a fake.
Yeah. You want to make
Gotta
sure you
do
get
it.
it right the first
Yeah,
time.
Yeah. Hey, second take. You gotta keep going and stay strong. All right, moving on. This is the
There it
millennial
is. That's the
again.
pause.
Moving on is Katiana did cry about her daughter, so she gets half a point.
Oh, right.
You know,
okay.
she was talking about her daughter, making sure to show her that she's strong and resilient.
Is
and
that a half point for
outside of
crying
the
or half point for I miss
comforts.
my daughter?
I did half point for crying.
Okay.
She didn't say
She
I
didn't say
miss
I
my
miss.
daughter, but she was saying she's trying to prove to her that she can
Okay.
like be outside of her comfort zone.
Yeah.
Hell
okay.
yeah.
So there we go.
Mommy moment.
And then, hell yeah. And then Massimo and Paola, their dynamic. Everybody was like, this was the funniest pairing. They got a little heated. It was funny. It was good.
feel like I want to know the order in which they shot those talking head interviews and the sequence of events in cooking, because I feel like at
Yeah.
first everyone's like, what a hilarious pair. And then by the end they were like screaming at each other and everyone's like, ugh.
Oh, right. No, I think all those are probably shot after, right?
Wow. So you think everyone's saying like, what a hilarious pair was just like a euphemism for being like, those two fucking
I think
Cats
cats
so.
and dogs. Yeah.
Well, I wonder too. It's just they're probably so callous, just working in a kitchen. The amount
Yeah,
of
yeah.
verbal abuse that goes on, they're like, "Oh, how silly!" that he's just screaming at her. And then, yeah, maybe to us, we're like,
Men.
"God, that's a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
much." But yeah, I'm sure it's maybe quaint
Yeah.
in their world.
I couldn't tell how serious Massimo was being when they did the dual talking head, when they were sitting side by side, and Massimo said something like, I think I handle myself pretty well under pressure,
Yeah.
and then Paola gives like that face, you know what I mean? And I was
Mhm.
like, is that knowing? Are they like, oh, this is our inside joke, we're going to play up this dynamic we know you've seen on camera? Or is that a little bit real? Do you know what I mean? Where
Sure.
Paola's
Maybe
like,
a little bit of
I'm
both.
not going to tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I think a little bit of both. I think they know they're making good television, so
Sure.
lean into it a little bit.
Yeah, all right.
And then at some point he did say, "Sorry, I was an asshole" or whatever. It all
He
felt
did
very
apologize.
scripted,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
do think they film all those probably like way after, don't you think? I don't
Yeah.
know, like after they've edited, and they're like, "Here's the part where you guys did this. Can you guys say this?" And then they say their version of that. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
my.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
we'll
I
ask
think
Kat.
that's like
I don't know.
documented. That's
If she
how it
knows,
works.
say.
I'm just like, in this particular situation,
Sure,
I want to
sure.
know, did people
How
say
bad was
they're
it?
hilarious like before they started screaming at
Right,
each other?
right. Yeah, fair. But it did seem like they, made up or whatever. They figured it out. It was probably just the high pressure of like,
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah.
home. Ah.
Yeah.
But anyway, judges arrive. Sarah Bradley is there from season 16 and 20. Great to see her.
They kind of didn't mention that though. Did you also clock that?
A big complaint this season has been that the guest judge, like lower thirds, are
Yeah.
so fast, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to read if you don't already know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like even without the lower third, like verbally, they would be like former Top Chef winner. Like I didn't
Yeah,
hear
they
them
should
say
have
she's
said
been on
that.
the show before, and also she has nothing to do with Canada. And
Yeah.
look, I love Sarah.
Oh, right.
One of my favorite contestants of all time. But I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I think, they just had a big, like, OVO Drake thing that they were probably planning to do. And they're like, we got to scrap it
Yeah,
all.
who's
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
ready?
Yeah, who's ready?
Who can cross the border? I know. She was on Dish with Kish
Okay, yeah, yeah.
last episode, like right before. So, I mean, I guess that's shot more recently, so
Yeah.
that doesn't matter. But there, they did give her a little bit more of an intro. So
Okay.
in this one, it was like maybe they skipped it because they're like, well, if people watch that, they'll know.
Right.
And, you know.
Okay, that makes sense.
But also the chefs from all the restaurants that they learned at were there too, so that was fun. Gail's dad and brother were there. Very
Adorable.
cute.
Love that.
Yeah.
Cute. Okay, let's get into the dishes. So Massimo and Paola, they did a braised short rib with grilled flatbread, escabeche with sweet plantain vinegar.
Looked good.
Yeah.
Looked great.
Look, I love a braised short rib, so.
I love a braised short rib. I love a bread made to order. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh,
That was
yeah.
a 1-2 punch of like, yeah. all
They
right.
did the judges loved that it was made to order. I think they pivoted to short rib because it was more of oxtail in the restaurant, but then they're like, this is going to be easier to do larger scale, which was smart.
Yeah.
Massimo like immediately told the judges that things did get heated between them, which was like, I guess, nice to admit, you
Sure.
know. Glad that he was upfront about that. But they kind of said it was a little dry. It was missing the like collagen from oxtail.
Yeah.
But overall, good dish, even though they weren't really getting the Caribbean flavor as much. That was kind of a complaint across the board. But yes, okay. Up next, Kat and Corwin with their cod and shrimp bombo with saffron aioli, smoked roe, piri piri, and pickles. So of course, this is the salt cod
Yeah.
lacking. They told them no
Yeah.
salt cod at Whole Foods, and Tom was kind of like, "Why tell
Don't
us
tell
that?"
us
Which was
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's what's always curious to me because I feel like they flip flop on like the honesty, right? Where sometimes it's like it feels like they're like, "Oh, you don't need to tell us that. Let us do it."
Right.
And then sometimes it's like, "Well, if you would have told us that, it would
Right.
have helped."
Yeah. I
And-
agree.
Yeah, I don't know
Because-
the rules here.
Because I
agree.
get why they said it because they're like, "Oh, we want to get out in front of why you might ask why there isn't
Yeah,
saltfish."
Right.
And then it's like, well, why would you tell us that? It's like, so for the meta level, because I think sometimes it's like, sometimes you're judging them on a level of like, if this was a restaurant, and
Right.
sometimes it's like a meta level of knowing you're on a show
Yeah.
with certain expectations.
Yeah. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
I was a little confused. Like I thought, would they have wanted, what if they
Yeah.
had gone the other way? They didn't say anything. Would it have been, how
Yeah.
come you guys use this fish?
Mhm.
So I don't quite know what I would do in that scenario.
I do commend them for trying to compensate for that in all the they're like, oh, salt, like they were like aware of like the moisture content, the salt content. They like tried to fix it and they weren't entirely successful.
Yeah.
But I do think that they knew the problems. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
like, we're
Which is-
trying our best.
Which shows like the signs of, that knowledge that you're
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did their best. There was that issue. They said it was a fine dish, though. It just kind of like this stage of the competition kind of thing where
Yeah.
come a little harder kind of thing. Okay. So Katiana and Cesar, they did a pad thai glazed tenderloin, pickled mushrooms, and butterfly pea flower pickles
So cute.
with that little signature
Yeah.
mold that
Yeah.
Katiana's been using.
I feel like
yeah.
if there are not little daikon flowers on every dish down at Yangban right now,
Yeah.
what are we even doing?
Right. Yeah, even if it doesn't need it. Yeah, I think it was interesting because, well, she was even, when she gave it to them, she was like, I know, I always do it. Like, she, she kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
shit, but they're like, oh, no, it's
And
fine.
I also think that Cesar like had her back on that. Was like, and it was also my idea to
Yeah,
like
he
do
did.
butterfly pea flower. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
it was
I
it was
wanted
not
to
just
put
her.
it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cute. And I mean, gosh, given what they like learned with that flower thing, it's like, well, you might as
Yeah.
well. I mean,
Yeah.
You have to.
basically the same, it's a similar looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody said it was pretty sweet, but that's kind of that Royal Thai food is sweet and very tasty, good dish, so pretty good. Vinny and Lana did their chicken Kama Sutra with curry hollandaise, chicken skin, and flatbread. We saw that spiel that Vinny kept giving was funny. Like they had worked together before, right? This was the Apple Bowl team.
Yes.
Right.
And so it was fun to see them, be past that. So they worked together quite nicely, even though maybe it wasn't the most successful dish. But it was funny seeing their dynamic.
I was worried. I was surprised that they liked it as much as they did, and I was worried because a lot of the edit was Lana going like, "This is kind of Vinny's call. Like, I don't really get it, and I'm just gonna do it." And I'm like, usually in a team challenge, if you're letting one person lead, you're not gonna do well.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it was very Apple Bowl. Like, I think it was Apple Bowl Part 2 where, okay, I fought him on Apple Bowl. He won.
Yeah.
And ultimately paid off. So now I trust him with my life kind
Sure.
of thing. And then, maybe she could.
Shouldn't
maybe
have.
in
Yeah.
Part 3, she'll
Like,
Stand up for
reconsider.
herself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Move over, Vincenzo.
Vincenzo. Yeah. So
It was
everybody-
weird too. Even just from my
The
opinion,
dish.
Yeah.
I was like, hollandaise on top of like a saucy chicken feels a little.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was worried
Yeah,
about
a little three
them
much.
both not, they were both like, we've never really cooked Indian food. It does seem
Yeah.
like something that needs more time or whatever. So that was worrying. But then, and then the judges were like, I expected more from this. The hollandaise didn't really like pack as much of a punch as maybe they thought they did.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's other rich sauce. So I was worried about them because obviously they did end up being on the bottom. But like, I think normally when chefs come in and do something where it's a cuisine that they don't even go as far as the cuisine,
Right.
that's like complete, strikeout.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it later. But that came by. Vinny was also very like much about his nomad dish that he like loved, and he was really into that, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, Henry and Shuai. They did a roast caldo with roasted pork kare kare, fermented pickles, and bagoong exo sauce.
Loved it. I feel like I've done my little soapbox about Filipino food on this podcast before. But to recap, I do feel like a lot of Filipinos have this instinct to resist innovation with the food.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of Filipinos feel about Filipino food the way that like a lot of people feel about soul food, which is that
Yeah.
like you can dress up fried chicken. The best fried chicken is just like kind of KFC fried chicken or like just whatever your mom makes. You know what I mean? And like that's just the way it should be. And why would I pay $30 for fried chicken?
Yeah.
You know? And so I felt my alarms go off a little bit when I was like, this feels like a little bit of a frou-frou dish, but like then my, intelligent brain wanted to be like, no, they're playing, they're experimenting. And then I realized I kind of came around to like, I think that it just felt like a hat on a hat dish. And I'm glad that it worked out, but it was like kare kare and arroz caldo are two separate dishes, and the thought to put them together, it's not that I'm resistant in that like that's not traditional, that's not how it's supposed to be served. I'm more just like that's kind of just two dishes, you know what I mean? It's like putting like a a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on top of like a clam chowder. It's like that's kind of two different things,
Yeah,
you know.
Interesting.
But I'm glad that it worked out.
Yeah.
All
I
that
guess
being said.
it
Yeah.
seemed to kind of. I was like, for me, I was like, oh, I wonder, because they're like, it's basically they wanted to do something like kanji.
Yeah.
And
'cause-
then, so I was like, is that kind of cheating?
Yeah, because kanji is Korean, right?
It's Chinese.
Yeah,
Chinese- yeah.
It's
that's
Chinese,
why
but
I
it's
call
like-
it something different. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but-
yeah.
Well,
but
because
I
the
guess it's
Filipino one
Chinese.
is like starts with a T, right? Toru, or it's with the tofu, and then the
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
oh, I saw it on TikTok, and it was like like they were like real hyped on it. It was like tofu with it was like a creamy sweet dish.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah.
To me, it like kanji is one of those things. It's like saying dumpling. It's like, well, every culture
Sure,
on Earth
okay.
has a version of this.
Porridge.
Every
It's like a
every
rice
culture has a
porridge.
rice porridge. You know what I mean?
So so you can. So that's why I was like, was it a cop out to be like, oh, I mean, I made the Filipino. This one's Filipino, and you're like, well, you just grew up making that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, no,
yeah, it's
it's
kind of
but
the
they
same thing.
obviously altered it and made it more from what they learned at the restaurant. But
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, the judges said the meat was cooked okay, tasted a little dry, and there was a lot of condiments, which I guess was probably what, you're talking about, where it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're like just putting a lot there, but they did learn a lot about condiments, so maybe that was the right move.
Sago.
Oh, sago's like the...
Oh, sago.
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry. So my bad.
No,
So
totally different
nope,
dish.
you didn't.
Yeah,
We're
that's
back
like
on
that's the,
MasterChef. You can no
tapioca
longer make
thing?
fun of taco. You can no longer
Taco.
because you fucking did it
Taco.
right
Oh,
now.
wait, we didn't talk about...
You fucking did it right now in front of my yerba mate. I said sago. You said, oh, sago.
You got it wrong, bro. It's sago.
Wait. Speaking of, we didn't talk about MasterChef has a new judge.
Oh, that's right.
And also, they got rid of Aaron. Like, I mean,
That's
he's,
right. Aaron
he's gone,
Sanchez is
and it's
no more
the new judge.
tacos.
No tacos.
And I can't.
Who is
I
it? Don
forget.
Burrell? No.
That is
it's
not
Tiffany
even
Dairy.
the one who
Yes,
I
it's
wanted them
Tiffany
to
Dairy.
get rid of either.
Exactly. No, I know. Everybody was like, "Why didn't they get rid of Chow?" But then I think they were like, then Tiffany would have to be like the hard ass, and like that wouldn't really work
That's not
either.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they have to get rid of Aaron.
Yeah,
because
what a
it's
Bummer.
nicer,
End of
maybe.
an era.
But yeah. So stay tuned.
No, yeah, okay, yes, I am excited for that episode of MasterChef. Sago is a totally different dish. Sago is dessert or breakfast.
Okay.
It's sweet. It's a sweet dish.
Yeah.
It's like tofu and syrup, and you can buy it from like a street vendor. It's a lot of fun. It's cool.
Damn, I need that.
Arroz caldo is like a savory rice porridge. It's congee.
Got it.
Yeah. For some reason, I call it juk. I don't know where that's from or what's going on.
Juk is
It's
the
Cantonese, I guess.
Korean name. Oh,
Well, you would think it would be, because I'm pretty sure everybody in Chinese says kanji, but then
Right.
I don't, so I don't know what's going on. I gotta ask my family. Okay, so
it could be a two names thing. Cause
I think maybe it's Canto.
Yeah. In Tagalog, you could also say lugao instead of arroz caldo.
Oh, cool.
So it's like
There's so many things.
Yeah.
You could call it yerba. You could call it mate. No.
you can call it sago. You can call it sago.
Sago.
Same thing.
Amazing. Well, all right. So then judges table. We're here already because there's no quickfire. So on the top, they immediately call blue and purple, Tristan and Bailey, Katiana and Cesar. They really love Tristan and Bailey's Kalamata caramel, and they asked kind of like how he made it, and they really felt like they let the cuisine guide the dish, which was cool because they were really apprehensive about Greek.
It's also really cool to see people who have immunity like go for broke
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
come out on
I
top.
know.
Yeah, I wonder if it was because this was such a stressful competition that did help a lot. Like
Yeah.
even if like normally the stress would make you better, but in this case it just made a lot of people worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like a strategy for chefs going in is like you got to cook every challenge like you have immunity.
Yeah.
Just swing for the fences.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then Katiana and Cesar, they were praised for understanding the flavor balance of Thai cuisine. And in the end, Tristan and Bailey win, getting 2 points.
Who has Tristan?
I do.
Fuck. What are we doing here?
I know. Do you know that Sierra still has
I'm
a full
sorry,
team?
it's-
She has
Yeah,
all
I
five
know,
of her chefs.
I know.
Wow.
I was praying you had Tristan.
No.
Because I was like, ooh, yeah, like, because I was winning either way. But I was like, oh, I need someone to lose. And that person is you, Sierra.
Hello. So they win immunity again, which is kind of funny. And, I was noticing sometimes when that person comes back from Last Chance Kitchen, they use that momentum. They often do win that first challenge back.
Yeah.
Or not often.
Yeah,
It
but-
has happened.
Yeah.
You're right.
So really good, good to see her be confident in her newfound skills and all the things she brought from Last Chance Kitchen. Seems really cool. So then Kristen does kind of like a fake out. She calls the safe teams first. So then they step to the side, and then we know that the bottom is Kat and Corwin and Vincenzo and Lana. So Kat and Corwin, as we kind of discussed, there was like the mushy problem with their filling, which in the binder was wet and it got kind of gummy. They explained their sort of fish reasoning, but it was crazy because those are two of the strongest, basically. Right, last week they were on top, and then Vinny and Lana. The judges were pretty confused about the hollandaise. Vinny kept reemphasizing his nomad background, and
They were like, that has nothing to do with this at all.
like, we get it, you are a chef.
Yeah.
Talk about anything else. No, so when they're in the back, though, Sarah Bradley, she did say, like, you're looking for top chef, not top. You worked for a bunch of people who are redoing their dishes, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I thought that
And
was
would have
great.
gotten her a half point if she was a contestant in
Yeah,
the past
I
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, I wonder, like, that is kind of a tough thing because, okay, here's the weird thing I think about also like musicians or like comedians. It's
Okay,
like
here we go.
once you're in it for so long, right? Then all you have to talk about is like it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
comedians,
okay, yeah.
find success and they're like not relatable anymore. So they're like, oh, not my truck, my private jet. Oh, I need my truck. And then it's
Right,
like,
right.
and I feel like Vinny's in that where he's just been in fine dining for a long time. So it's like, what is the life experience to draw on? You've been in a
I
kitchen.
get
Yeah.
that. But what I'll counter is that he's surrounded by people who have equivalent resumes.
Sure.
So it'd be like in a room full of like, famous musicians just being like, well, when I played Woodstock, do you know what I mean? It's like no one cares.
Right, I
Everyone
see.
here has played a
Yeah.
big festival. We all you don't
Find
have to
something
like
else.
It was like,
Yeah,
yo,
exactly.
dude, I'm Limp Bizkit. We started that riot.
Oh, you went to
Right.
Woodstock 99.
yeah.
The worst Woodstock.
Sure. Yeah.
Depending on who you ask.
Good. No, I mean, yeah, it does feel like he could draw on other things, but like versus I'm thinking like Kat, who has obviously a full roster of just living life and doing a bunch of different
Yeah.
things.
Right,
Like it's a
right.
very different
Yeah.
kind of life experience to draw on, I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe Kat was at Woodstock 99.
Yeah. I mean, based on everything I know about Kat, probably.
As
Yeah,
a-
no, I
as
wouldn't
a
be
child.
surprised.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be
right.
surprised.
But anyway, no one did a terrible job. They were like, somebody's going to have to go home for like a good dish here. It's a talented group. And Kat and Corwin are going to Last Chance Kitchen. Another huge shocker, two back to back.
Truly.
No.
Because Corwin also, did he win quickfire or elimination last week?
Quickfire.
Quickfire.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And he was in the top, I think,
yeah.
for both. Let me see. But yeah, he was strong. He was also the best at the buzzer. So
Yeah.
that's where it matters. But yes, so we can dive right into Last Chance Kitchen so we can close the loop on these two. Basically, it's a brand new run of Last Chance Kitchen now that Bailey just went back, so no one's sitting on the sidelines. We've got an empty room. It's Kat versus Corwin. Bittersweet. They are friends, but they
know.
kind of immediately...
That's that. I think that's what makes it such a heartbreaker. Is like you just worked together, you just lost together, and now
Yeah.
you going toe to toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the rivalries of Last Chance Kitchen. So
Can I say I really liked Kat's chef's jacket, chef's coat?
I was just going to talk about that. Her highly
Oh,
likely
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She was
Look.
really Brandon hard in Last Chance
Look.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
Kat knows what she's doing. She's like, all right, well,
It's amazing.
let's let you know where I'm at.
I feel like there's this dichotomy where like some chefs, because in Last Chance Kitchen I'm guessing they are told you can wear your own personal chef's jacket, and some of them have like their restaurant or at least their name or whatever, and then like by contrast, like Corwin was wearing an off the rack,
Yeah.
just plain, like he went to a costume store.
Well, he's like a private chef too, so.
But that, to me, I'm like, okay, private chef, get one with your name on it.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Colicchio's just has a classy little cursive TC. You know what I mean?
I
I'm
see,
like,
I see. What is it? Corwin.com? Book me. But yeah, I think she was. Yeah, do you think it's different, right? Like Top Chef, do you think you can mention your restaurant in Top Chef, but maybe
Oh,
you
yeah,
just can't. You have to wear the uniform. It's just Last Chance Kitchen where you can wear yours.
oh, I don't. Oh, yes, yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So,
yeah,
yeah,
you
'cause
have
it
to wear
felt
the
like
Top Chef jacket on Top Chef.
Okay. Yeah, it felt like she was really going hard with, I have 2 locations, highly likely.
Yeah.
I want to go back there proud, so like, don't send me in now.
yeah.
I should be better than this, essentially, is what she was saying.
And the
Yeah.
back of it said, I don't know if you caught it, said hot behind
Oh, no.
on the
Oh,
back
that's
side of
great.
it, like on the
That's so
rib
funny.
cage. And I'm
Yeah.
like, have you ever tried to make custom clothing? Getting embroidery on 2 sides of a garment, that's more expensive.
Yeah. Look, she has style. She has
Yeah.
taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get that merch.
Honestly, if they sold
behind.
that just as merch,
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Hey, Kat.
ready.
Go ahead and drop
Take
that.
my money.
We could do a collab.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking.
Okay.
Okay, so the challenge for Last Chance Kitchen was they get 30 minutes total, but for the first 10 minutes, they will work as their own prep cook for the dish without even knowing what they're prepping for.
An
So,
impossible task.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And
Yeah.
and then they can't use any sort of sharp objects after. So we see when that gets into play. But after 10 minutes, then he'll give them their surprise protein and they'll, cook a dish, right? So, yeah, and then the only thing they're allowed to go back to the pantry for is pots and pans at that
Right.
point. So then he reveals a protein and it's salt cod.
I don't know how Kat didn't see that coming.
Sure.
It
Yeah.
felt very obvious.
Yeah, but I feel like it was like, well, I wasn't able to find it. I don't have,
It's not in Canada.
Yeah.
They simply don't have it
Right,
here.
right. Yeah, it can't possibly be here.
Yeah.
Corwin did expect it, which is funny. And it totally made sense going back. But yeah, I wonder if you're just, you're in that haze of like, oh my God,
Yeah.
where am I? The Last Chance Kitchen, like, what do they even do here? And then you're like, oh yeah, right. They do the thing where you're supposed to
Yeah.
redeem yourself. But,
Right.
it might be in the excitement, it doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Kat says she'd never actually cooked salt cod before. So it does seem like Corwin has the upper hand here. He's very
Very much
familiar
so.
with it. He actually kind of prepped for it. But the big thing is that he forgot to open his green curry can.
I don't want to like take away from Kat's skill, but that did feel like a huge lucky break to be like, this guy is gonna make a dish for salt cod. Surprise, it's salt cod. You've never worked with it before, and then the only difference is that like he forgot to open his
Yeah.
his one can that he needed.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean that I wonder about that because it was like I do agree, and it's like, oh man, also could you tell them to like remember can openers are knives? Like I don't think I would equate that either.
Yeah.
But also like some of the complaints Tom had about the dish, I feel like were beyond that too. So I wonder if it would have been maybe she would have won.
And it does seem like her dish was really good.
Yeah.
I love a good salad.
Yeah.
Salad queen.
And not to harp on it too much, but the salads at Highly Likely fucking slap.
Yeah.
So that's like,
Hell
she was in her arena. She said, I might not know how this sauerkraut works, but I know how this salad works.
Yeah.
Salad. Oh man. That's good. But yeah.
Have we talked salads on this pod? What are you guys'
No.
favorite salads in
no.
the city?
Ooh.
I've got a list.
Ooh.
Wow,
I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
Okay, the shrimp and crispy greens salad at Girl and the Goat, Stephanie
Okay.
Izard, Top Chef
Yeah.
alum, one of the best salads in the city.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it might still be on the menu in Chicago too. So if
Yeah.
you're in Chicago, you can also have it there. Cool. I will say, okay, number 2 would have been any of the salads at Poltergeist, which doesn't exist anymore.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace. Shout out to Diego Argosi. Good peoples.
And I'll say number 3, the Sushi Stop salmon skin salad.
Really?
Ooh.
Okay, for those of you not in LA, Sushi Stop is like garbage sushi. It is like dollar sushi.
And the branding looks like GameStop.
Yes, it's a GameStop
You're right.
branded sushi restaurant. It's where you go when you are desperate.
Yeah.
And there's multiple locations.
The smartest thing that they've done in their like planning for business was putting one next to UCB.
Yes,
with
exactly.
all those broke comedy kids
Yeah.
who are like, oh, I can afford dinner.
I think their business
Oh,
model
yeah.
is strictly like location.
Yeah, like they definitely saved my life when I was
Yeah.
like, I ain't got much money.
Yeah.
I'm interning at UCB.
Yeah.
I need enough energy to look Paul Scheer in the eyes when he walks in.
But so this is sort of what makes their salmon skin salad so magical is that it is dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Because every other good salad in the city, it's like you're paying,
Yeah.
$15, $20 for it, and it's like it feels ridiculous.
Don't
paying
get me
much for
started
salad.
on a sweet green salad.
No.
Sweet
It's-
green.
Yeah. Look, that's a separate podcast.
Shrew Mummy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with shrew mommy.
But the Sushi Stop salmon skin salad, it's like, I don't know, depending on what location you go to, weirdly, it's like between like $4 and $7.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it
It is.
small though?
It's gigantic.
Oh.
It is so filling, and it's so simple. It's just like greens, whatever fucking salmon skin they had lying around, and like
Yum.
a good dressing, and it is so good.
I wish you could have told this to Iffy 10 years ago.
yeah. That sounds
all
great.
I was getting was a gyoza, just like making it last.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, heat me up.
But that's good. Yeah, the texture. You always want a little crunch in your
Yeah.
salad.
Great crunch. It's really good.
Mhm.
Interesting. You got any good salads?
Oh man, yeah. No, it's highly likely if you stop there.
They do have good salads.
The
Right,
beet
right.
salad
Yeah.
is really fucking good. I love a beet salad. Too.
Love a beet
It's
salad.
good for blood flow too. Just keeping.
Is that real?
Yeah.
I believe it.
Oh.
Yeah, it keeps you because you got to be worrying about blood flow. We're getting up there in age, Mike.
That's
Don't wanna
true.
lose any fingers.
Well, no, it's just
yeah,
for your dick to be hard.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's all
Oh,
blood flow
sorry.
down there.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't for you, Sierra.
Sorry,
This conversation is not
I,
for you.
We're talking.
I went
we're talking
straight
about.
to fingers, not to penises. My bad.
I mean, sometimes
All
that's
are
how it is.
important.
That's true. Look,
Look,
sometimes you got to go with fingers.
instead of penis.
So sorry to the kids.
Yeah. Sorry
Oh,
to the
man.
person playing this for their classroom again.
Yeah.
We haven't acknowledged you in a while, but
Yeah.
People, they turned up the volume for salads. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
salads.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
What a
good, clean
wholesome
fun.
conversation.
This is good, clean fun.
Yeah. Let's turn it up for the salads.
Okay, what's your salad pick?
Honestly, this is just from growing up nearby, but the Diane salad in Pasadena.
Oh, I don't know this.
It's I think it's at Green Street East out there.
Okay.
I think that's their salad, but it's got like Krispies, rice noodle
Love Krispies.
Krispies,
Ooh, yeah.
chicken,
Mhm.
and almonds.
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay.
And I'll try to make it sometimes, but it's a lot of work.
That's
Yeah.
part of the hallmark of what makes a good salad to me is like I could not make this at home. The shrimp and
Oh,
crispy
Yes.
greens that grow on the goat, I could not. Most of the time you have a salad
Right,
like
it's a
a sweet
lot.
green, I'm like I can make this at home. There's no way I can make the shrimp and crispy greens.
You know what
Got it.
all this salad talk made me think about is
Eating ass.
eating that. Make sure you eat your salad before I eat that ass. We gotta-
Great.
yeah. No, all the bottoms are like they're ready to type in with their picks. They're like, "We got salad picks." But soup plantation.
Oh, Yeah.
And I remember thinking
Yeah,
that was like
soup
a fancy restaurant. And we got to do a whole episode on restaurants we used to think was fancy growing up.
That
Yeah.
is. It's such an
Yeah.
outing, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole salad bar.
Like
up
you were
front.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Red Lobster and Olive Garden.
I
Like
love Red Lobster.
like your parents were like, you better.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
treating it like Musso and Frank's. They're like, put your best suit
Yeah.
on. We're going to
Right.
Red
One
Lobster.
of my
Clean your
favorite
nose. Uh-huh.
obscure facts. I think I have this right. Did you ever watch Party Down? One of the greatest sitcoms. of
I
all
saw
time.
some of it, but I haven't seen
Yeah,
a ton.
I didn't see it.
You guys are missing.
I
it.
know,
Go back
I
and
hear
watch
it's
tonight.
really good.
It's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
The revival, okay. The original, amazing.
Yeah.
But in the show, I'm going to blank on the actor's name. One of the characters, his dream is to open a Super Crackers. And I've heard that the reason they picked Super Crackers because the original script said Soup Plantation. And Soup Plantation was like, absolutely not. You cannot put our name in this script for this sad sack character to want to open a soup plantation.
Right. That's not the best branding.
Oh my
But
god.
oh yeah, rip. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Cat makes
yeah.
a salad.
No, yeah, all good. Yeah, no, I mean, and I bet highly likely it's just booming right now because she
Oh,
really
you would
sold
have
it.
to imagine,
And
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
now,
Like I said,
got
it
their
was
salads there.
booming when I
Sheesh.
went.
Yeah.
And it's accessible again because
Yeah.
like so many chefs come onto the show
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I have a restaurant. It's got Michelin stars or whatever. You can't get a reservation."
Right,
Highly
pre-prepared
likely
to-
is like a walk-in cafe.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Got a bar.
Did
Yeah,
you
you're not gonna
know
spend $5,000.
Yeah.
that this is very funny? That Soup Plantation is outside of Southern California was known as
Yes.
Sweet Tomatoes.
Yes, Sweet
And
Tomatoes.
we're
Yeah,
the only
yeah.
place that called it Soup Plantation.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder when. Oh, May 8th, 2020 is when they decided, we're calling
Yeah.
out racist stuff.
So,
Time
wait
to
a second.
close down
Yeah,
Soup
yeah.
Plantation.
Yeah, them and
Yeah.
Lady Antebellum. Get
Look,
out of here.
Yeah, look, I was happy to be a house Segro. That's a salad Negro.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
Glad-
yeah.
That's how
New
you know.
merch,
we're-
write that down.
That's
Now. New
it.
merch.
Yeah, take
New
notes.
merch. New
Take
merch.
notes.
That's how you know.
Are you a field Segro or a house Segro?
But you can only buy it, if you're black.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't. We have to do
Well,
some
but
sort
we
of
will
check.
have
Screening.
Jesse Thorne's face on it. it'll be a speech bubble coming from his mouth.
Oh boy, that's great. Well,
He's, what's that? We just got canceled.
Yeah.
Show's over.
oh well, it was good. It was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
Just to wrap us out, let's see. So so I'll go over the exact description of these dishes. Kat did a salt cod panzanella with fish sauce vinaigrette, pickled romanesco, and maitake mushrooms, delicious salad. Corwin did a coconut green curry inspired salt cod with burnt scallions, probably green curry inspired because he couldn't get that can
Right.
open.
Yeah.
So Kat wins, fantastic dish, salad queen. He
We can't
said-
interview her yet because her
Yeah.
time on the
Right,
show's not
she's
done.
still
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Tom was impressed that she was able to put so much in such a short amount of time, and Corwin's curry sauce got muted, which I guess is kind of can related
It's a
a
bummer,
little.
yeah.
So he's going home. He looked pretty bummed. I
Yeah.
mean, who wouldn't be?
I
Right?
would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry.
You okay?
Yeah.
just choking on my own spit. Classic. So points breakdown. You can find our rules on our Instagram and follow us at TV Chef Fantasy League. So no quick fire this week. So no quick fire points. Judges table. That was Tristan and Bailey, Katiana and Cesar. They each get a point. Winner of the elimination challenge was Tristan and Bailey for 2 points each. Last Chance Kitchen win was Kat with a half a point. And we just had Katiana crying this week with a half a point. So the
Here we go.
points.
Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead. Say it.
So the points. Mike did not gain any points. this
Any?
week. Yeah.
Zero? Are you kidding me?
You told
Not
me
a
to
single
go for
thing
It.
happened.
Yeah. Damn.
Jesus
Unfortunately,
Christ.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
But both Iffy and I
Damn.
gained 4.5 points.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
This is true.
When you gain points, it doesn't matter the points that I make. Like it just cancels out. I might as well be on the bottom with Mike with 0. If you
Hey.
get this.
Hey. All right. What's the leaderboard?
Yeah.
So Mike, you have 11.25 points.
Okay. I'm feeling good right now.
Mm-hmm. Iffy has 18 points,
Oh my
Okay.
God.
and I have 26.75.
Jesus. Jesus. At least it's not by 10 for me.
It is not.
It's
That is true.
almost double for me. I am at almost half the amount of points you have.
That's true.
That's crazy.
We need big weeks, Mike.
I really need a miracle here.
Yeah.
Well, any final thoughts on let's see. We lost 2 good chefs, but one might come back. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Bailey didn't give up hope, and now she
Bailey's
came
a
back
new- a new
and
woman?
won. Yep, new woman. And Kat's not giving up hope, so I won't give up hope either.
I'm giving up hope. There's no way I can't recover from this. I'm going to take my win with Filipino food being featured in one episode and just go home.
Honorable.
Yeah.
All right, then that's our show for today. If you like our podcast and you want us to be judges on the show,
Yes.
and you will obviously share this episode, share whatever episode with your friends, family. Also, if you could support us, please go to MaximumFun.org/join. Obviously, we're so thankful to everyone who has done that already. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. It really helps us out. It keeps us going. It keeps us from getting canceled, which may have already happened, but it does really help.
This isn't airing. They stopped recording.
Yeah.
I've been
I'm
fired.
just-
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Val had to leave.
Sorry, Val. It happens. But, if you have any thoughts or if you want us not to be canceled,
happens?
it happens. We get fired. We get canceled.
Yeah, it's done.
What are you going to do?
But,
You lay low for a couple years, you do a
yeah.
comeback tour.
You
It's
do.
not that hard.
Yeah.
Right. You start your YouTube channel.
We'll be in Austin, Texas. Talking about,
Yeah. Just join us at the mothership.
Talking about non-woke soup shows.
right.
Non-woke cooking shows.
Can't say anything these days.
Yeah.
So drop us a line though if you want to tell us anything. Some great people did write in. We always love to hear it. Our Instagram is at TV Chef Fantasy League. DM us there. Follow us. We also, post some clips, comment, send us an email or send us an email at chef@maximumfun.org. And hey, if you're doing your own Top Chef Fantasy League, do tag us. And we want to know how you're doing, how many points, if you're doubling anyone's
You had
points.
to adjudicate someone else's league this week, I
Oh
saw
yeah,
in the email.
I did see. Yeah,
Or in DMs.
DMs. I think somebody did ask about because they had drafted Ying and didn't draft Sam, but
Right.
then I was like,
They didn't
maybe
realize
you
that the last
could
chef
draft Sam.
or last
Yeah.
chance kitchen chefs were not regular chefs.
Right, yeah, like the auto drafter didn't
Yeah.
didn't calculate that.
So you had
I
to
was
step
like,
in and be guest commissioner
I
for their
was-
league.
Yeah, I suggested maybe throw in Sam in there. I don't know if it resolved the problem.
We
but-
hope
I
that
gotta
Sierra
check.
did not completely fuck up your league.
Yeah, most
Yeah.
likely I did, but hey, this league's pretty fucked up already as well.
Yeah. We're not the high
Even-
water mark
Yeah.
for fantasy.
Even if you do it fairly, it can mess up. But yes. Ask us. Feel free to ask us any adjudicating questions. For full unedited episodes, check us out on YouTube. And thanks again to my co-hosts, Mike Cabalon and Iffy Wadaway.
Yes.
And we'll be back next week. I wasn't
Mike,
sure.
Gablon.
That
one.
I wasn't sure if we are going to do full names, but I
Yeah,
figured shout out the full names.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Great.
And TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. This episode was engineered by Valerie Moffat and Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League. Thank you.